Right. Welcome to the Sunday Speedrunner Spotlight on a Thursday. Close enough. Got to record in advance for my pace trip. So here we are. Episode 38, I believe. Big number. As I mention every time now, it's kind of weird, but we're here. Anyway, we've got Iceblue here today. Hello, welcome.
Hello, hello. How are you doing?
Doing great. Here to talk about some speed running. Good topic, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. So,
It's almost life changing a little bit. Yeah.
honestly, yeah, quite so. I can agree with that one. So, how did you get started?
So I originally started with randomizers. Funny
Hmm.
enough, coworker of mine back in 2016, I want to say, was like one day was just like, "Hey, have you played the Link to the Past randomizer?" And I'm like, "Randomizer? What's that?" So like he tells me about it, and I was like, "That sounds pretty cool." So like later that day, like we hop in a Discord call, boot up a seed, and we just start playing it, and it was like the coolest thing ever. So like we started making it like a nightly ritual, and we just started playing, and sure enough, like I started getting like kind of a kind of addicted to it. Um, and that's how I found the IRC channel for SRL Speedruns Live, and I joined that community, started doing like actual races with people, and then that's basically how I found my way into like randomizers and speedruns because you started to meet people and everybody's like, "Yo, you should play this. Yo, you should do this." And yeah, it just kind of blossomed from there.
Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of backwards from how people start, and they usually start with something traditional and then move on to randomizers when they've gotten sick of the tried and true reset heavy madness. It's
Yeah.
kind of interesting. So, when did the pivot to like more traditional stuff start?
Um I'd say probably like just like a few months in. I I moved into like doing like Zelda 1 randomizers, Final Fantasy 1 randomizers. Um but the Zelda 1 randomizer community just kind of like stood out. Like they were like a lot nicer in my opinion than a lot of the communities. Um and I found the Discord for the speedrunning, and there was a lot of guides up, there was a lot of like friendly help, and I was like, "You know what?" I was like, "Let's do it." So I started Zelda 1 was my first speed run. Um and I think like my first time that I officially like recorded was like I think it was like 56 minutes. And it was completely glitchless and like no like block clips, no screen scrolls or anything like that. It was the two first route. But yeah, that's pretty much like what got me into like actual speed running is Zelda 1.
It's a good start. That run looks really hard, especially with the amount of things you have to manage when you get down to it, the
Look,
technicalities.
as long as you can count to 10, you're
Well,
fine. You're
okay.
fine. But,
Well,
we're speedrunners. We can barely count to 3. It's fine.
true. I can definitely agree with that. So, you started glitchless. Did you work your way into adding more and more glitches over time?
Yeah, so I originally started on emulator.
Mm,
So like getting like all like the frame perfect, pixel perfect stuff was a little bit more difficult than it seems.
yeah.
And I started incorporating that as I played more randomizer, and started learning it. I started practicing it more. Um, and like I was still submitting my times to any percent, so like it wasn't like I was submitting anything to like glitchless or whatever. It was still any percent runs. Um, but yeah, and then I think about I want to say a year into running Zelda 1 or something like that, or like 9 months or something like that. I ended up grabbing my consoles from my mom's house. Um, I found one of my other like one of my coworkers was like, he's like, I have a CRT TV. He's like, you want it? I was like, yo, bring it to work.
Wow.
And so he brings it. He said it was just sitting in his garage, so he brings it to work, and it's literally the TV that I still use today.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, it just made the swap over to console. The moment I did that, I shaved like 2.5 minutes off my PB. It was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, it just that's when the hobby became the addiction almost, but not
Yeah.
quite an addiction.
Yeah, I can call it that. For me, at
Yeah,
least.
you're right. Yeah, you're right.
You must have had the best coworkers ever. It sounds like.
I mean, you meet some pretty cool people if you like when you work. I used to work at Best Buy. Um,
I see.
so I'm surrounded by people that are into technology. I'm surrounded by people that are into gaming around my age group, things like that. So like
Hmm.
everybody was just like super cool about it, and like three or four of us would play randomizers like almost like religiously every night.
Well, that works out quite well then.
Yeah.
So yeah, the I know emulators. At least when I used to play on it too. And the second I swapped, it was so much easier because
It was
emulators
game changing.
they just have input lag, especially if
Yeah.
you have a crummy laptop like I did back then.
Yeah, like it's game changing swapping over to console.
Hmm.
And like if you can incorporate it like into like where you have everything set up, I definitely recommend it. I don't know if I would recommend a CRT just because like
Mm.
I have a larger TV that I want to use. It's a Trinitron, a Sony Trinitron, but it's also like 35 pounds heavier than my current TV. So like I don't trust my desk.
Yeah.
And the way that my desk is set up, my desktop like tower is like directly under where my TV is. So if that thing collapses, that's it. It's
Mm.
over.
It's all over. I see. Yeah, well, I have a 27-inch Sony Trinitron right here on my
Oh,
desk. It's holding up. So,
yeah. I have working at Best Buy, you get a lot of people that bring in like recycles and stuff like that. And one day we just had a 24-inch Trinitron come in for recycle.
mm.
And I looked at my boss and I was like, "Can I have that?" And he's like, "What do you want that for?" And I'm just like, "Don't
you
worry about
you
it."
don't understand.
I was like, "Don't worry about it. I'm a retro collector.
Mm.
I need this TV." And like I plugged it in the back and made sure like it powered on, and it powered on. Um, and I was just like, "Okay, I absolutely need this." And it took me like 15 minutes of talking to him. He's like, "I'm gonna turn the other way," and I was like, "I'm going to get my car."
There you go. So, again, my Trinitron's bigger than that. You can
Yeah,
believe it.
that's like 100 pounds. Goodness.
Oh yeah. It is on my desk and it is never leaving. I'm not going to be able to pick that thing up and move it again. That
I
needs a
struggled.
team.
I struggled to get that 24-inch because like I live alone and I get this thing home and I'm like, all right, now how do I get this thing to the door?
Yep, that's the problem. Sometimes you're
But
surprised they can even fit through a door.
yeah, but you know what? I have a zero input delay. The game looks perfectly crisp,
Mm-hmm. It's good.
so can't complain.
Does it have component hookup?
It does.
Yep, that's why I have this one.
It also, I think, if I remember correctly, on the back of the 24-inch that I have, I think it also has S video too.
Yeah, that's good. This video is still a huge improvement over composites, so
Yeah,
definitely worth it. But mine has so many hookups. It's got like two composites and S video a component. I'm just like, what do I do with all this? I just use the component, but just in
Of-
case, like I have every option available.
yeah. Eventually, I wanna upgrade my or like mod my NES to have component out
Hmm.
stuff like that because I just have a composite modded top loader. Um,
Yeah.
but that's an excursion for the future.
Hmm. Yeah, I personally recommend AV Famicom. Those are the best mod for the output. That's what I've got. It's very nice.
Would I still be able to use it? Because I have a N8 Pro. Would
Oh,
that work with an
true.
AV Famicom? I would have to get a whole new EverDrive.
Yeah, I do have a Famicom specific EverDrive because they released the Pro model. but I still had the original, so it was like an excuse to get the pro model as well. So
Yeah.
they do have like converters, like the NES to
Yeah.
Famicom thing, but I don't know if it works with EverDrive. I recall there
I
being
know
issues.
I know I have one of my friends uses the converter to his top loader for the AV Famicom EverDrive.
Hmm.
So I think I don't it would just have to be vice versa because I would be converting the Famicom plug into the N8 Pro
Yeah.
for EverDrive.
So yeah, I'm not entirely sure in that situation, I guess.
Yeah. A
It's
lot of the
just
stuff is
worked out
over
for
my
me.
head.
Yeah. It's still over my head. People told me what was best, and I was like, okay. And now I have it, and it's like, yeah, that's good. I think they're right. So
You got it.
they got it. Yeah, but I mean, I'm very happy with the quality so far. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah, it's nice to mod old hardware so it can look its best. And now we got what the like retro tinks and stuff. I'm still not ready for that. That's like too complicated for me.
I so I just did a run at GDQX at TwitchCon, and I had to do my run on a RetroTink 5X, and it wasn't bad. There was no lag.
Hmm.
Like I was able, and like I ran Zelda 2, so there's a lot of like there's a quite a bit of frame perfect tricks in there. You have to precision jumps and things like that, and I had no issues whatsoever. Like even practicing on a 2X, I maybe saw like a frame of lag on the 2X, but I saw zero lag on the 5X.
That's good. Yeah, I don't know if it was a 5X 2X. I assume 5X, but my run at HDDQ, yeah, I had no problems with that run. Let me tell you. So they must work pretty well.
Yeah, it was a very very impressive run too.
I still can't believe it, and it's been half a year. So, but yeah, so they do the job. I just I don't know. I like my CRT, even though it
Yeah.
like the pictures all warped on the sides, and I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
One of these days I gotta show you like what's wrong with my CRT that I'm currently using.
Mm,
Just know that I can barely see the top side of my screen.
yikes. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think my cutoff's too bad. Like if I look right in the center of it, oh, it's like pixel perfect. It looks fantastic. But then you go to like the sides, and like if it's white, it's actually like red and blue because it's like warping, not matching the
Oh
pixels
no.
properly. It's
Oh no.
But for $20 for this TV, 27-inch Trinitron with component hookup, it's still a good deal, I think.
Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
can't complain too much, but as long as it looks good on the capture, I don't need to complain. But yeah,
Yeah.
just like a tad unfortunate, like oh, if I got a retro tank and played on monitor, this wouldn't happen. But it's like it's not the same, I guess. I don't know.
Eventually I'll make the swap over, but until then I'm adoring my CRT.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So so how like fast did you get at Zelda 1 when you started off?
Um my times, like I said, they started about 56 for like a full completed run, and with Zelda 1 you don't complete runs all the time. You
Oh no.
the silliest things take you out, or you miss something, or you run out of bombs in level 9 and then it's just the run's over.
Hmm.
Um but after I think I've been running it on and off since 2016, like early 2017. And I've gotten my time down to 2857,
Wow.
which is pretty fast. I think record's like a 2749, I want to say, or 40. It's about a minute and some change faster. But the level that those runners like Shixal and Green Mario and Lack all run are just astronomically better.
Yeah, it's quite wild at a top level. But then again, I think I remember when 28 happened.
Yeah,
So, like it's
the
not like it's
Discord
not
was
impressive.
the Discord servers were overheating that day when when the first 28 happened.
Did they overheat for 27 as well?
Oh, absolutely.
That's good. Big
Yeah, that
milestones.
that time got posted and everybody was just popping off. It was a pretty big day.
Huge day for Zelda fans. But yeah, that
Much
that runs hard. It's
yeah.
very hard. I don't think it's something I could ever do personally.
It takes a lot of like it's kind of like the I would say probably like the 454 grind for SMB. It takes a lot of like resets, a lot of getting beaten up by the game.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Like,
Like I had so many paces all the way into Zella, to level 9 that were
mhm.
like 28.55, 28 4x, and I would either get a bad patch or 3, or I would get a bad Ganon spawn and he would go all rights, which we call it the Matthew McConaughey Ganon, because he just goes all right, all right, all right.
That's good. I like that. I've never heard of that, so that's pretty funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
is the Ganon fight just RNG there then where he goes?
Yeah, I guess you could say it's RG. It's a 50-50. So like when you get the first stab, it's a 50-50 shot of Ganon spawning bottom left or bottom right.
Hmm.
Um you want all bottom left because that's the spot you're closest to. Because your traditional spawn is top left. So when you stab, you just go bottom left, and then you just hopefully stun lock him in that little spot there,
Hmm.
um, which makes the fight easy. But sometimes he goes right, and you have to wait like 2 seconds per, and it just takes so much time.
Hmm. So can stun lock him, or is it possible when you get the first hit he moves to the right? I've never really asked that. I don't think.
It's Yeah, it's possible to stun lock him. It's like I said, it's just that 50-50 shot. Because even if you get the stun lock, he can sometimes just escape it and go to the other side.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that at the end, literally the last part of the run sucks. Like that's worse than BBG coin toss. Although that now is like kind of manipulable. I think I said that word right, but so it's not quite the same, I guess. But the closest thing I can relate it to in my brain, I guess.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean,
yeah. Because if I recall, like with that, it's like there's like a chance of getting the lag frame on Bullet Bill,
mm-hmm,
or not getting the BBG at all, and
mm-hmm, yeah.
there's a lot like you said, like you were like, oh, I don't think I'll ever be able to do that. Like with Super Mario Brothers, I don't think I'd ever be able to accomplish stuff like that.
Maybe not, but I guess we all have it in us. It's just us saying no. Maybe, maybe that's the uh, I don't know, fortune of the day. But
Yeah, could
anyway,
be.
yeah. So the bullet bill, yeah. If you jump on an even frame, it's not working, and then, but the lag frame depends on score, so you can kind of like affect the score, so it doesn't happen. So
That's
that's how that
new
works.
information to me. I
Yeah.
never even knew that.
So there's the secret tech. Um, yeah, a lot of people don't know that, but
That is
that's why I'm here to
that's
explain.
wild.
Yeah, I don't know why the score causes lag, but it does. Yeah, sometimes if it's just right too, you can get like an extra laggy thing, and then this line of ones appears on the left of the screen, just like green ones.
What?
I it is interesting.
See, this is why I love retro games. There's
they
just so many like unsolved mysteries as to like why things happen the way that they do.
they are a bit silly sometimes. But yeah.
Sure are.
Yeah, with Zelda 1 though, there's so many like I've gotten the screen wrap before,
Mhm.
but it's like takes me like 30 seconds to get it once. And the fact that you need to do that like dozens and dozens of times, like almost every screen is wild to me.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Left to right is a lot more lenient than right to left, which is I don't
Hmm.
understand it, but that's just how the video game works.
Yeah. Isn't it pixel perfect alignment?
For right to left, yes.
Hmm.
Left to right, you actually have a couple of pixels you can utilize, and you can use a sword buffer if you're on the sixth and the seventh pixel. I want to say.
Hmm.
Um, it's yeah, left to right's kind of a lot more lenient than right to left.
I've only done right to left, so that explains why I'm so bad.
Funny
I'm
enough,
learning new things. See?
funny enough, I'm actually better at right to left than I am left to right.
Hmm.
I've like because like you have to do a left to right right outside of three, like a couple screens after level three on the route, and a lot of the top runners do a sword buffer out of there, and I get there and I'll sword buffer and Link will stab up, and I'll just because I'm assuming I got it, I'll just walk left and then I'll screen move back to the forest. And I'm just like, ah,
Hmm.
back to level three I go.
Yep. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, and that's just one of like so many more complicated whatevers. I still don't know how like clipping, like the sword clipping through blocks things in dungeons work.
That one's it's kind of similar to the left to right scroll. You have a couple of pixels that you can sword buffer that'll clip link into the block.
Mhm.
Um it's not so bad. Couple little bit of practice probably just show you at GDQ honestly.
You could. What is a sword buffer? I don't think I've ever heard that term.
So basically, like when you Link stabs and you like you have, I think it's like 12 frames. You can kind of change the direction.
Mm.
Um, so what we do is we'll line up on the pixel, stab, and then tap, the perpendicular direction. And what that does is that we call that a sword buffer. And Link will face it like a different way that he's supposed to face when we do those clips and those screen scrolls. Um, and it acts as we just one frame tapped it.
Hmm.
Um, and that's how we're able to utilize that like during the run, like with all the block clips, because the all those block clips are one frame taps,
Hmm.
and with the sword, it allows us to do those one frame taps without having to actually one frame tap
God, I wish I had that luxury.
it.
1-2 clip would be free.
I I don't even understand how that clip works.
Yeah, that's one of the clips of all time for sure. I mean, yeah, it's only hard because you can only push A for exactly 1 frame. Because jump any higher and nope, too
Yep.
bad.
Nope. It's definitely like this is why I love speedrunning because it's like
Hmm.
there's so many different things for each individual game. And you'll look at one game and be like, "Oh, I can do that." And then you'll look at another game and be like, "I can't do that."
Yep.
So like there's always a a game for somebody out there, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and like every game can be ran, and there's always like something about it that
Yep.
makes it cool. Or like hundreds of things. Or maybe just one, but something. Usually something. But yeah, they're also, even if they're like same genre or franchise or something, they're so like different to each other somehow.
Yeah.
Well, even like Mario 1 and 2J, they're the same game, but they've got tons of differences in a speedrun sense.
Yeah. From what I've seen with 2J, yeah, like there's just like there's so many different instances of like different types of like tech that are used. Um because like I don't think I'd ever seen like that pipe clip. What is it in 5.2 and 2J?
Yeah.
I've never seen that until like I watched like 2J runs and I'm just like I was like, what?
Yeah,
I
that's
was like,
because
what's
in
going on
2J
here?
they added upside down pipes. There aren't
Yeah,
any
that
upside
is.
down pipes in one, and they like screwed it up where you can just enter any of them from the bottom. I
You
don't know
know,
why.
now that you point that out, you're right. Wow.
Yeah, no, 2J added upside down pipes. That's just one of the things they added.
See little things like that. Like I didn't even realize that that was like a 2J thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then again, I can't even tell you the last time I played SMB1 warpless all the way through.
Yeah, well, I promise you you'll never see an upside down pipe. They did not create those yet.
Little
But
did they know they were creating a broken piece of
well, that's
speed
because
tech.
for some reason they didn't just flip a pipe upside down. Just took the top of a pipe and put it on the bottom. That's why you can go into it from inside. That's all they did.
Oh no.
It's like, well, you screwed up there.
They copy pasted and it was like slapped it right here. Perfect.
There we go. At least they got the piranha plants to work, I guess.
Oh, that would have been absolutely funny if they would have just like came out like vines first.
Yeah, or they would like move up, so they're just inside the pipe and never show up or something because the
Been
sprites would be hidden.
fantastic.
But they would have. I'm maybe that happened, and they're like, no, and fixed it. I don't know, but yeah, the pipes are upside down pipes are incredibly broken, and it's so silly because you just don't see that like anywhere else. Not like that, at least. Yep, and that's just feeds into every game has its unique something.
Yep,
Like
sure
that
does.
that's like my perfect example. Like 1 and 2J are the same game, but not really.
Yeah, completely different mechanics.
Yeah. It's just funny how it works out, but yeah, I love learning like new whatevers in games I don't run because I'm just like I can appreciate how difficult something is or like oh that was cool and then you look into how it works and it's like oh that's really cool.
That's how it was like when I started branching out after Zelda 1, like learning like Zelda 2. I granted I don't run any of like the glitched categories for Zelda 2. Um any percent is not my cup of tea. Like I enjoy a good glitch here and there.
Hmm.
Um but like when it starts getting to that point where like it's just hilarious looking or like it like skips like a quarter of the game, I personally lose interest in stuff like that. Like to put it in perspective, like the Mario Wonder run right now, like the 80% run just skips half the game.
Yep.
And I'm just like, it's awesome. It's cool. Like seeing these glitches happen, like they're super cool. But like from my perspective, I'm just like, it doesn't interest me.
Hmm.
If it
That's what different
interests you,
categories are for.
yeah, like if it interests you, sweet, go for it. Kick that time's butt. But like I've been watching Carl Sagan and he's been running glitchless ARS all royal seeds and that run actually interests me. And
Mm.
it's strange to hear me say that because I'm not a Mario runner, but like I've been very interested in this the all royal seeds run for Wonder.
I haven't seen speedruns of Wonder yet. I wanted to wait until I beat the game, and I did, but I still haven't looked it up yet. I need to see what all the hype's about.
It's definitely a thing.
Sounds like it
I
could be a thing.
I've been getting a lot of notification, well, not like notifications, but like the recommended tweets on Twitter, and
Hmm.
it's like, oh, we just found this thing that saves like 30 minutes, and I'm like, uh-oh.
It begins.
This is why like I'm very excited for Super Mario RPG because like we're already all popping off in the Discord, and I'm excited to see what the speed run's going to entail. I'm excited to see like how routing's going to go, how leveling like level routing is going to go, boss mechanics and techs and thing like that. I'm excited to see all that because
Mhm.
that's Super Mario RPG is just like that game holds a special place in my heart. So like I already popped off when the remake got announced at the direct back in what's September, August, I want to say. Like I almost rolled down my stairs trying to get to my Switch so I could pre-order it.
Hmm. Appreciate the dedication.
Yeah, except it would have been a bad hospital bill.
Yeah, then you couldn't afford the game. Yeah. But yeah, Mario RPG, speaking of like interesting speed runs, it's wild how like optimized that is for how long
Yeah,
it is.
it's it's honestly it's well, what word am I looking for here? Intimidating
Hmm. Yeah.
because like fastest route, of course, you have to get the the armor in the game that gives you the 50 attack boost, the 50 speed and everything, the super suit. But in order to get the super suit, you have to land 100 super jumps, which
Hmm.
that's a lot harder than it sounds.
Yeah, what is it like 3 frame
Yeah,
input?
each jump is 3 frames.
That's oh my god, 100 in a row.
Yeah, 100 in a row, each jump is 3 frames. So it's just like, I was like, maybe not.
That is definitely intimidating. That is the word. But and don't you have to get like a bunch of the random freebies too? Like,
For yeah, like for fast times, like to keep up with like the top runners, yeah, you have to get a bunch of like ice bomb freebies, rock candy freebies, which those are
wild.
just pure RNG.
Hmm. Such a
So
wild run.
yeah, it's funny like watching some of the runners because like they'll have it like on their screen how many like ice bomb freebies, how many rock candy freebies, and you're just like, oh no.
Yeah. But again, ties back to every game having something cool about it.
Yep, for sure.
It's just true. But that is again very fun to watch. But oh my god, I wonder how much the remake will be different from the SNES speedrun.
Um, Probably a lot just from like what we've seen, like mechanics wise. I won't go into details for
Hmm.
those who are trying to like avoid spoilers and things like that. Um, it's it's going to be very, very, very different. Just to say the least,
Hmm. I
because
mean,
they've
that'll be
changed up a
interesting.
lot of the mechanics of how things work. Um, and they incorporated a ton of new things. Like you can actually perform like party attacks now.
Oh yeah, I do remember
So
that from the little trailer they had.
yeah. So like you have like I don't know if those are going to be like a 2 minute cutscene where like your party members are like doing this big massive attack, but yeah, there's going to be like full party attacks now. Timed hits do splash damage. So ideally they're going to probably rework boss HP to like incorporate like splash damage and things like that.
The splash damage means like you attack an enemy, but like damage is done to enemies around it too.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, like from one of the trailers that I've watched, like they like Mario like kicks the shell into an enemy and like timed hits it, and you just see like the max damage hit the main enemy, and then like a third of the damage hitting the two side enemies on the battle, and I'm just like, okay.
Interesting.
So we'll see. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to it.
yeah. I don't know much about RPG games. I just happened to play that game on Wii VC back in the day. But yeah,
It's a good game. You should finish it.
I should. I will. How far did I get? God, I don't remember. It's been so long. Like 10 plus years since I last touched that. God, but it was fun. I do remember even like as a kid back then, like just running around and its little thing. Because I mean, it's like half platformer almost,
Yeah,
which
there's
is
there's a there's a couple instances of like I wouldn't call it precision platforming because
no.
it's like the platforming is pretty lenient. But yeah, it's definitely like isometric platforming. Yeah,
Hmm. Like it's not traditional RPG stuff. It's probably
which
why as a
makes
kid
it
I liked it more.
which makes it better. I
Yes.
might be a little biased. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. But yeah, I'm excited for the release. Like comes out this month, right? So
Yeah,
almost,
15 days
almost there.
or 15 days from today.
Yeah, from day of streaming. But yeah, it'll be cool. Um, but yeah, back to Zelda 2 since you brought it up. The any percent run that has like a ton of like frame perfect bullshit, right?
Very, very frame perfect stuff. Like the start of the run, like not even like a minute into the run, you're already in a town and you have to do a double frame perfect like talk to an NPC in order to access Glitch Town, which I'm just like, yo, this run sucks.
Yeah, but then again, I play a game where within 20 seconds you have to do 5 frame perfect inputs.
Yeah, yep. I remember nailing flagpole glitch with save states, might I add.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
At GDQ SGDQ because it was you and Supersonic that were teaching me,
Yep.
and I ended up getting it like once or twice with full on save states. Like I had save stated like right
Yeah.
before the jump.
And the subpixel viewer, so you know if it's good.
Yep.
Yeah, it's hard. I can't
Yeah.
argue that one.
I got to witness the coolest thing ever at TwitchCon.
Mm,
Um, so we went to the Pinball Hall of Fame before TwitchCon started. Me, Supersonic, and JSR, and there was a Super Mario Brothers machine there, and there was also a Super Mario Brothers machine at TwitchCon in the retro like arcade area.
I
Um,
wish I went now.
Supersonic got FPG on the arcade machine in the TwitchCon area
Yep.
first try,
Oh.
and then couldn't nail it after that. Like tried hundreds of times, could not land it, but he got it the first time he played. I just looked at him. I was like, you couldn't have said you were doing this so I could record this. Hello.
Yeah. Uh, oh yeah. I was like tweeting with Andrew G about funny things, and I think he talked about doing that before or something. It was something like that. But yeah, I've still yet to ever play versus SMB machine because they used to have
Yeah.
it at GDQ and then got rid of it by the time I started going.
Oh,
Very
they
sad.
had one. They had one at the Pinball Hall of Fame.
Hmm.
The versus machine.
Okay, there's still hope.
Yeah, there's still some around.
Yeah, I mean, I they have like a NES ROM of it, like home edition they call it, and
Hmm.
that's what people like speedrun. And I think it's like 1-to-1 with the arcade. I could be wrong, but
It was really weird, like because like at the Hall of Fame, Supersonic did like a full warpless playthrough of the arcade version, and I'm sitting there looking. I was like, I don't remember that.
mhm.
And Sonic's like, yeah. He's like, all the levels, like some of the levels are different. And I was like, huh?
Yeah, versus I'm not entirely certain of the history of when it released. It was either that or like the All Night Nippon variant. One of them like came out before Lost Levels, but had Lost Levels in it. So
Yeah,
it was like
it's
them transitioning to that game almost in a way. But yeah,
pretty cool though.
so there's an in both of those games. So I'll stick to versus though. There are no repeat levels. So instead of like the repeat levels in SP1, they use a Lost Levels level. And then
Hmm.
there are also like edits to normal levels to make them harder. Like 4-1
Oh
is
yeah, they
very
the
different.
yeah like the ending like pyramid thing. whatever you want to call it, the block pyramid just has a giant like gap in it.
Yeah.
I was like, hello?
Yeah, that
I would have fell into the damn thing, but
yeah, it's very different. It's kind of wild. But they made it harder to eat your quarters, obviously.
oh yeah.
That's how they do it, but that's how they get you. But
No, just give me a ROM so I can slap that one on my EverDrive and I'll play that version.
yeah, I have it.
Oh, okay. Well, damn. Now I feel called out.
Well, that's what I was saying, right? I was playing it on NES. Like,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
there you go. But yeah, like there's a home edition. Again, I don't know if it's 1-to-1. I want to say it is because you can speedrun that version and go on the leaderboards and it's fine. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, what's funny is there's no like warp to world 8. You can
Yeah,
get
I think
from 1-2 to
Sonic said
4-1 and then 4-2
once
to world 6.
6. Yeah,
Yeah.
World 6. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's as far as you can get. They also tried. I don't know if they tried. I don't know if they did this intentionally, but the wrong warp in 4-2, um, they changed the warp to the pipe next to the pipe, so you
Oh,
can't. So they like. I don't know if it's because they knew about it or like just wanted to move where the warp was. But what's funny is if you get to the very far right side of the screen, it can still work. So it'd be funny if they did try to patch it and failed because that's funny, but I don't know if they were aware of that or not yet. It's that kind of history that I wish I knew the answers because it make so much about the development be more interesting.
yeah.
Because I know they tried to patch Minus World. They removed like the bricks you could clip into, but you could still like clip in the pipe or in the wall anyway, and it's like, haha, you can't
Got
stop
him.
us. But yeah, it's just interesting how all that development works. Very curious about that kind of stuff
Yeah, for sure.
because they made way too many versions of Mario 1
And it's
versus
funny
All
because like
Night.
a lot of the stuff to this day, even like the remakes and stuff like that, like Super Mario All Stars, a lot of the stuff still works the
Hmm.
same way it works in the original,
Yeah, in All
and you're
Stars
just
they
like,
patched Minus World,
yeah,
but they didn't patch like anything else. At least not
like
intentionally.
can't you still like clip into like the pipe and the block in All Stars?
Hmm. Yeah,
Like, oh, okay, it's like, yeah, we didn't want to patch that. It's now a feature of the game.
yeah, it's a feature. Well, I think they just still didn't know about those. Well,
Could
I
be,
can't even say that because you can like do the Minus World original clip that they tried patching at one point. So I
yeah,
guess they
because
just yeah, I guess they did just give up in that sense.
like I remember reading because like, all right, this is gonna show my age, but back in like I used to have a full on subscription to Nintendo Power,
Hell yeah.
and like I lost all those. I live in the South, so like my life was affected by Hurricane Katrina,
Mm.
and Katrina took all of my Nintendo Powers, every issue.
Wow.
It was like 60 different issues, and they're all just gone and
Wow.
tragic.
Yeah,
But
that
I
sucks.
remember reading in like one of the like much earlier like editions of Nintendo Power about the Minus World, and I was like, "What?" And like I could never do it. Like I tried to do it, and I could never do it. And so like they knew about clipping in the blocks and stuff like that,
Hmm.
but I guess when they came out with All Stars, they were just like they didn't, I guess, understand like how the block clipping worked, so they were just like maybe not able to fix it, or like I don't know. There's no telling.
Yeah,
Maybe somebody on the dev team was just like, you know what, leave it in.
I just know in like versus they got rid of the bricks that you use to get the Minus World clip. So you'd
Mhm.
think they did that to patch it, and then maybe in All Stars they just said, "Oh, let's make it 1-to-1 with the original. Who cares?" Because they
Yeah,
just literally just took the game and put it on there, except to ruin brick physics and made the game worse for some reason. But other than that, but yeah, everything else FPG still works the same. You can even bullet bill glitch. They just changed it where you can't trigger the level countdown by just running into a solid object. You have to reach the castle. So naturally, the US version, if you BBG fall off the left side, you soft lock.
That's
Mario just
funny.
constantly walks to the right and never triggers anything.
That's that's both funny and sad at the same time.
Yeah, it it's just funny how the differences work. It's just
You
wild to
fix
think
one
about.
thing and then five other things break.
Yep, that's how it goes. Anyway, back to Zelda 2 though.
Yeah.
Like I saw a video about the 80% run and I was just like I couldn't believe how hard it looked. So I understand you not wanting to do it. I can't understand anyone wanting to do it. It's just very
Some
interesting though.
some runners enjoy that level of consistency and things like that. Like me personally, like I'm not a huge fan of like multiple frame perfect like inputs
Hmm.
back to back to back to back. Um for those who are a fan of those, cool. That's your forte, your cup of tea. I
Yep.
appreciate that. I appreciate all the work you put into that stuff. For me, not so much.
Yep.
Cuz like once you like in the any percent run, like once you get, Glitch Town, you have to you have to enter the glitch house X amount of times and it warps you to the graveyard right by Palace 3. And then you have to immediately go to the bridge to head over to where the Hammer Cave is. And now the any percent run does a trick that we found out, we found out like about this trick like decade ago, maybe like a couple of decades ago. It's called Fairy Feet, which is basically like your one frame tapping with the fairy spell active on a screen until the fairy is like completely like off the screen, and then you tap the opposite direction of like where you like, so say you're on the right side of the screen, you get like, the fairy's off like completely off the screen, and if you hit left, you'll actually come out the other side of the encounter. um and they use that in like NMG, they use that in any percent, but Slackinator actually found a way to perform the well, I don't think it was actually Slackinator that found the way, but like I think like other runners found a way that you could actually do the fairy feet glitch without the fairy.
Hmm.
And now that's incorporated into the any percent run, because there's a screen right by the area that leads you to Death Mountain, or the back half of Death Mountain. That's two bridges, and both of the, like one of the bridges has a red diary on it, and then the other like the other bridge has two moblins on it, and each of those screens are like 12, 13 seconds long. So they fairy feet and it exits the screen, and you could just walk left on the bridge and just go to Death Mountain, no
Hmm.
problem.
What a wild game.
Yeah, it's definitely a run of all time.
One of the runs of all time. That's what I'd call it for sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think
So,
it's down to like sub 15 now, which is
yeah, because glitchless
never.
is what like an hour and
Uh,
change.
so 100% all keys is the glitchless run, basically.
Hmm.
113.46 is the record by
Got it.
dude. Like any percent glitchless, I think is like 104, 105, something like that. It's up there.
Hmm. So saves quite a bit of time.
Yeah,
Any
just a
percent goes.
just a little bit.
Just an hour,
Just
almost.
yeah, it's just an hour.
Just an
Nothing
hour. It's fine.
nothing spectacular.
So, what are some of the things you have to do in the like glitchless type run?
So it's pretty much mostly tech based, and like we manipulate like encounters to like skip, because there's forced encounter tiles on the overworld, and there's a lot of like encounter manipulation that we do, with like taking like certain amount of frames on each screen, in order to get the proper spawn patterns and like how the spawns move. Because the way that the spawns work, however many frames you've lost on the previous screen that you were just on is going to determine how the next set of spawns will move around the overworld.
Hmm.
Um, and like during the run, there's a section that we stab on the screen 4 times because that loses the perfect amount of frames to make the next set of encounters just walk directly into Link,
Hmm.
which we utilize that to skip the encounters on the on that overworld section.
Hmm.
And it's just a matter of like learning like how those encounters move. But there's always that small chance that you get a fairy encounter, which the fairy encounters are just completely RNG walk. So it's got its ups and downs. It's still one of my favorite speed runs. Um, One day I'll eventually go back for the 114, but ugh, grinding that game.
Yeah. And what's the difference between that like any percent glitchless and the what was the other one like 100%?
Yeah, 100% all keys is
Mm-hmm.
what the category is called. Um, Honestly, I don't know like if there's actually an any percent like glitchless category. I think it's like just any percent NMG, which lets
Oh,
you do like fairy feet and stuff like that.
okay.
Let me,
I see.
let me see, because like I have
So is that any percent all key or 100% all key is like what they intended any percent to be like?
um, it's it's basically collecting everything, including like every single key in the game, the
Okay.
intended way of playing the game.
Okay. But it's weird that there wouldn't be like an any percent without all the glitches then. I don't know. That just seems weird to me, but I'm not in the community, so what do I know? Don't listen to me.
Yeah, there's like 12 categories. There's
Mm,
100% all keys, any percent deathless, 100% deathless, any percent NMG, 100% NMG, any percent, 100% new game plus NMG. There's so many
okay.
different. And like I
Yeah.
don't know if there's like a let me see. I don't think it would be under category extensions, but
Yeah, so I guess just any percent no major glitches.
yeah, that would be the only glitch that's really used in there is fairy feet.
Hmm.
But other than that, it's
So how long
basically
is that run?
that one is for 100% NMG. The record is a 10118.
Hmm.
So I guess they, well, yeah, okay, so yeah, so 100% NMG. So we don't have to collect all the keys in that one. So there's a lot of like of the fairy spell being used to like clip through the doors, which saves quite a bit of time because a lot of the keys that we have to go grab are in like 20-second, 30-second travel rooms. So
Okay.
I can definitely see like where the 12 minutes is being saved there.
Hmm. Just trying to. I don't know too much about Zelda. It's just I'm trying to piece together everything.
Hmm.
Seems pretty complicated, but not if you know what you're doing, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah. That game's so like controversial though. I feel like people either think it's like an 8 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10 and there's no in between.
It definitely gets a lot of dislike just because of like I guess the difficulty of the game because it's like first of all, the game is like super super cryptic, but it also suffers from it being, 36 years old, I want to say. So like it's kind of like on the same levels of like Castlevania 2
Mm,
where you have to actually talk to every NPC in the game because NPCs are what give you your hints on what you need to do next. And a lot of the hints, like I watched a good friend play through this game, before he started speedrunning it. And one of the hints, like in one of the towns, like so you don't even know about Bagu living in the forest, you know, just right off the get-go. So you go across the bridge, you go to the next town, and then you get to an NPC that says, I can't let you cross. You need to, and then like you find out that you have to go and find Bagu, and one of the NPCs just says, Bagu lives in a forest.
hmm.
and there's like hundreds of forest tiles, and you're just like, oh, okay.
The hunt
So
begins.
yeah, so you have to like now go and look through every single forest tile, which in the area where Bagu is, there's like 5 like forced encounter tiles there. So like you have to like dive through all of those in order to find Bagu, and it's just it becomes like very very like cryptic. It's definitely aged.
Hmm.
Um but like once you get past that and you start learning like the tech and like how to combat stuff, um it definitely goes from like from a 2 to a 9, you know.
Hmm. Well, there you go. That explains it, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, very interesting game. But I just remember seeing that video on the 8% run. I was just like, what a wild, what a wild speed run.
It is. It is it is definitely a run, like a run of all time.
Run of all time. Yep. Um, so you said you did Zelda 1 and then Zelda 2? Is
Mhm.
that the timeline? And then what else?
Then I started branching out and learning like random things. Like I did a a few days of running Friday the 13th
That is an
on the in.
interesting game.
That game is reset your console until you get the right seed.
Mm,
And then
classic.
it's funny because it gets worse because there's also a chance because there's 2 seeds that are pretty similar. Like you spawn in the same house, but Jason attacks 2 different areas, and if you get the Jason attack on the kids out in the lake, it's a reset.
Mm.
It's so bad.
So what are the odds of just starting a run?
It's depending on the frame you press start on the title screen.
Of course it is. So you just have to do a frame perfect start press.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
Well, I guess
Um
that's not as bad as long as it's consistent. As what I was thinking. If it was like a 1 in 10 RNG grind, I would say fuck that. No, thank you.
it's I definitely so looking at my oh, did my life split freeze and crash on me? Oh, I love this program. It's great.
It works
Well,
50% of the time.
sometimes.
It works all the time.
Sure, let's save the splits. Hold on. I think I still have the splits for my Friday the 13th because like I've changed computers since then. Let's see, open splits. I do. Let's see if the okay. So my splits for Friday the 13th. I have 8 completed runs out of 3,111 attempts.
Whew. That is quite the
Because it's
discrepancy.
time starts when you press start on the title screen for the run.
Hmm.
So you don't get to pick your predetermined seed at all. You just have to press start and hopefully you timed it right. Yeah, 3,111 attempts. I got a 303, which at the time it was second place.
Mm.
And I was like, all right, cool, I'm done with this game. Bye.
That's the
Um,
proper reaction, I think.
Now it's my time is 17th place. Um, and top record time is a 251. So I'm assuming they found a better seed.
Mm.
But yeah, it's if you want a run of all time, that's definitely up there.
Nice. Well, at least it sounds short.
Yeah, there was an instance where I would just run through a bunch of like short games. Um like I did Friday the 13th. I do have an SMB time. It's not great, but I do have an SMB time.
That's all you
Uh
need.
I have a 558 and it was 5 years ago according to my speedrun.com profile.
Sub 6 works.
uh I ran Die Hard on the NES. That was that was definitely a
That
run.
that runs like a minute and change, right?
Yeah, my time was a minute 56.
Mm-hmm.
Um I think I had record for like 40 minutes until somebody took it back. But
Interesting.
it was it's one of those games where like you have no control over anything. It's just you go downstairs, you have to kill this guard, he drops this thing, and then you have to go up and down the stairs like 20 times because you have to advance the timer in game, and going up and down the stairs advances the timer, and then you have to run to the roof and bomb a helicopter, and then it's the end of the game.
I love the NES.
Um, I have a DuckTales time, which I don't like running that game anymore because it just does nothing but mute my VODs. Thanks,
Mm,
Capcom. Thanks, thank you,
classic,
appreciate you.
classic.
Chrysalis, I learned 80% no Wild Warp, which that's actually a really fun run. It's the no Wild Warp, so like no Wild Warp, well, Wild Warp and Chrysalis is I think I don't remember the button inputs, but like you have to press like something on a second controller,
Mm,
and basically it'll just, I don't know why this is programmed in, but if you press, I think it's like start select or something like that on the second controller while playing, it just warps you to the next major area. And
I love the NES.
it was like, it was, that was developer intended. And you could just like, there's like sometimes you can like just warp in like one of the major areas, you're like literally over the ocean. So your character just warps and you're just standing on water and you're just like, oh,
This is wild to learn about.
yeah. And then I started getting into SNES, like SNES runs. I learned Super Metroid. I learned Donkey Kong Country 2, Link to the Past, Terranigma,
Don't know what
which
that
is,
is.
if you're familiar with like Illusion of Gaia, um,
Barely, but yeah, I've heard of it.
it's the same, like it's the same company, the Quintet series.
Mm,
So like they did Illusion of Gaia, um, Soul Blazer, Terranigma. Those three of the games are like all like intertwined. But US NA never got Terranigma. It was an EU JP game only.
mm,
So we got scammed
I see.
because it's actually a really fantastic game.
Well, that's why we
Um,
have EverDrives now.
exactly. And that's why we love them.
Mm-hmm.
I learned both of the Star Tropics games. Love Star Tropics. Fantastic game, by the way. Um, and you know, it's just a few things here and there went around. I played a couple of ROM hacks of some games that I put times out for. Banjo Kazooie, I learned for a little bit.
Mm.
I even did Minecraft speedruns for a little bit. It's just went everywhere.
Well, gotta keep with the what's popular, I guess. And boy,
I
is
guess
Minecraft popular.
it did, popular and controversial.
Oh yeah. Well, you don't have to get into that, but yeah,
No,
that is now that's one of the runs of all time.
it is. It is.
Oh yeah. I I remember last year when I went to Pace, they had like a 3 day, they have like the whole LTA format, so it's where they all like play the game at the same time and just whoever has the best PB at the end of the 3 days, you win the prizes.
Mhm.
Like break the record kind of thing.
Yeah.
And every time I'd look, it would be all like 7 people with 9 instances of the game running, trying to find the right seed. I'm like, how is this fun to watch?
Yeah, and
No.
like that's like I've tried to like watch like streamers play that game just so I can get, like when I was running the game, I was trying to see like, how are they how are they finding this so fast? How are they finding this fortress and these things so fast? And then like it was just like an hour of just nothing but resets to having like 25 instances of the game opened at the same time loading seeds, and I'm just like, I'm just going to close this window out. It's
Yeah.
I can't watch that. Like I'm ADHD enough as it is, and trying to like watch two screens is already a challenge.
Yeah, it's interesting, but only if you're seeing the finished product.
Yeah.
I
And
can't
again,
stand there and watch that.
that falls back into the, hey, if that's something you enjoy doing, by all means, go
Hmm.
for it.
Not for me though.
Yeah, exactly. I got a sub hour in the game. That was my goal, even though like the record at the time when I was running it was like 11 minutes, and I got a sub hour, and I was like, all right, moving on, done. See ya.
The proper reaction, I think. But yeah. So from all those games you listed, were there any like special highlights or like cool things about particular games?
um, I think one of the big notable things for me is like I learned the Satellaview Legend of Zelda, the BS Legend of Zelda. I
The
promise it
bullshit
doesn't.
Legend of Zelda.
I promise it doesn't stand for
I
bullshit.
know. S
Um,
is Stellaview, but what is B?
broadcast.
Broadcast Stellaview. Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
so
Got it.
broadcast to Teleview. Um, basically what it was like it was only on the Super Famicom, and there was like an attachment that you would attach to the bottom of the Super Famicom that basically turned it into like a broadband like signal receiver, and you would connect it to the internet, and every week there would be a broadcast that would send out like a portion of a game, and they had games like F-Zero, they had games like Link to the Past on there, they had the BS Legend of Zelda on there, and they had I think it was like a list of like 12 games, and they would send out these files, and you would play them, and they would have a time limit, they would have blocked off areas because they were either for a previous week or a new week coming up.
Hmm.
um and they would just incorporate this like full game but over the course of like a month and a half, and with the power of technology, somebody combined all the weeks together, made a full ROM.
Hmm.
And I found out about it, and I was like, you know what, I was like, I actually enjoyed playing this. Like I did a casual playthrough, and I was like, I enjoyed playing this, I'm gonna route it. And so I routed well, they call it third quest and
Hmm.
fourth quest, since it's still technically called The Legend of Zelda. um so I routed out third quest and fourth quest, and I actually ran third quest for AGDQ 2023. I raced my friend Vonnie Von, and that was a pretty hype.
So are they like completely different quests, or is it just the NES version on the Super Nintendo?
No, completely different,
Wow.
completely different. Like all the dungeon layouts are different, the overworld's different,
Hmm.
um, movement mechanics and stuff like that all different.
That's that just sounds like an entirely new Zelda game.
It makes the game better. No, I'm just kidding.
Hmm. It's cool though. Like just a full-on Zelda game. No one here got to play at least.
Yeah, it's
Wild.
um, it definitely I like it better than the original Legend of Zelda.
Ooh,
Just because of
wow.
how the movement in the game is, in my opinion, better. Because the original Legend of Zelda, you move on a grid system, but the grid was like super clunky. Like if you tried to like move up and you were like halfway through the grid on a half tile, Link would just like not move in the direction you want him to like
Hmm.
move. And which, like, if you've ever watched the Zelda speedrunner, if you ever hear the phrase come out of their mouth, "Oh, I got gridded,"
Gridded.
um that's basically what we're talking about. Is like we were like trying to move in a specific like direction, and but because we were on a half tile of the tile of a grid,
Hmm.
um Link didn't move in the direction that we wanted him to move in, so we were always like, oh, I got gridded.
Well, you've explained to me why what felt clunky about that game. I can never
Yeah.
put it together. That is definitely what it was.
But like, the BS Legend of Zelda does have a grid system, but it's improved.
Mm.
So like that game actually has a corner correction, which the original Zelda did not have. So like if you're on a half tile and you move into like a wall or like a bush on the overworld, it actually just pushes your character to the side and like lets you walk past it. So it just corner corrects you,
Hmm.
which was phenomenal for a game like that. And it's actually in BS Legend of Zelda, it actually saves, pixels
Hmm.
by doing that.
That is
So
fascinating.
yeah,
Just what a
it's
unique release that no one has really touched because of how it was released.
yeah, that's one of my like, I guess you could say it's one of my like prized possessions in terms of
Mhm.
speedrunning, just because like I fully routed both of the, third and fourth quest myself. Um and that's like basically like what the route that like a lot of the runners use now for third and fourth quest.
Mhm. Yeah, that's really cool. I'll have to look at that game a little longer, I guess. I mean, I still haven't like fully played Zelda 1 either, but yeah, I thought I just assumed it was going to be like, an All-Stars kind of just take it, put it on there, change a few things up. No, I didn't know they like literally made all new dungeons, like literally third and fourth quests, like just literally
Yeah.
changed the game. That's actually really cool to learn.
hmm
Like,
Yeah, like when I first played through it, I was like, oh, the overworld kind of looks the same. But then I looked and I was like, well, it looks a lot more like it looks smaller. And then like I went to level 1 and that was in the same spot, but then level 2 was not in the same spot. I was like, "Oh, okay.
hmm.
Now you have my attention now."
And did you notice like level one's layout was different?
Oh, completely different.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fascinating. Yeah, I wonder how many. Do you know much about the Stella View or just that game?
Just that game.
Okay.
I got a lot of my information from a user named Kiddo Cabooses.
Mm,
He actually does a lot of like research and like stuff on Satellaview in its entirety. Um, I would say he's probably like a Satellaview like historian.
mm,
Um, because like anytime he's streaming, he's doing something with a Satellaview game, and
yeah.
it's always like a cool watch, like to see like the differences between like some of these games and like what the Satellaview is capable of. Um, it's definitely a good watch.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm someone who cares a lot about like game preservation, so I hope there's like a way that all of it's been preserved in some way because it's such a unique thing that a lot of people don't know about. But
hmm
apparently, it's made really cool things like Zel essentially like the Zelda 2 people actually wanted, not the 2D fuck this game, it's too hard. What'd they do game. So there you go.
Yeah,
Zelda the Lost Levels.
yeah, basically. As far as like game preservation for it, I mean, there's like a whole like website for the Zelda like portion of like the Satellaview stuff.
Hmm.
And there's like different like links that you can click on that'll allow you to get your hands on the original like game, but like everything's combined into like a 4 week um thing, and it keeps the timer intact. It keeps like the text boxes that pop up like whenever like you're beating dungeons and things like that. It keeps all that intact, and then the version that we speed run takes away the timer, because I did a run through of that to see, and by the time I got to Ganon, you can only fight Ganon at like I think it's like a 54 on the clock,
Hmm.
and the timer runs like in real minutes. So like whenever you start, it starts at 07, and the minutes count up in actual minutes.
Hmm.
So like you can't fight Ganon until like 30, 40 something minutes on your timer.
Hmm.
And I got to Ganon, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm gonna go and make me a sandwich while I wait for Ganon to open up the doors here.
Interesting.
So we decided to run the other version that takes out the timer, um, and incorporates the number of Triforces instead,
Mm.
to everything. So like in the game, there was like at 19 minutes on the timer, you can go and buy this specific item from the shop, or go pick up this item on the overworld, or these tornadoes were not there, and things like that. And then the version that we run, one Triforce you can or sorry, two Triforces you can go buy the blue candle, three Triforces unlocks this, four Triforces unlocks this. So it made things more speedrun friendly,
Hmm.
as opposed to like just sitting here and being like, well, now I gotta wait for this to happen.
You know, speedrunners do not like waiting, so I
No.
understand.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, definitely seems like the way to go. I mean, that makes it like a true to form game too,
Mm-hmm.
turning it that way. So it just makes a bunch more sense, I think. But yeah, what a unique thing to exist. I just find that really fascinating how they did all that back then. And there's so many other games made for that system too, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the only one I really knew about because I think I saw a little bit of it at GDQ. So it's very interesting.
Yeah. It's
Video game history for you.
yeah.
Get
And
educated.
that's something that I enjoy. Like obviously I'm a retro speedrunner. I play games that are either my age or older, but like there's a reason I play games that are, this around this age and like stuff like that, because it's interesting to see, because like despite some of these games being like 30, 35 years old, people are still finding speed tech or different routes and things like that. And it's like, what else are we going to find in a game that's 35 years old? Like, what else could you possibly find with all these glitch hunters out there? And it's super interesting to watch a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, you mean like despawning the flag in 2-1 of the lost levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
I
think
love old games.
what game? Like just like not even like 2 years ago, I think Link to the Past actually found the tech, and please don't quote me out, like I could be wrong with timelines. Time is non-existent.
Hmm.
Um Somebody was like messing around with the practice hack, and they found out that you can despawn the heart containers from every dungeon, and so that completely changed the low percent run.
Hmm.
Because like we had like they went and have it like they went to change, they had to change the route to go pick up the cane of Samaria earlier, because the cane of Samaria was used to despawn picking up the heart container to spawn, the crystals and stuff like that. It's just like, what? So like now you can
You've
actually get
confused me.
like now you can just like you can actually have a true low percent run and fight Ganon with 3 hearts. And it's just like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Because like in Link to the Past, the only way to get the pendant drops and the crystal drops is to pick up the heart container. So the low percent run had you just only pick up, all of those before getting to, the final section of the game. But then somebody found out a way to despawn heart containers, and I was like,
Hmm.
oh no.
Fascinating. Yeah, it's stuff like that that's just wild.
Hmm.
Retro games are just the games that keep on giving. They're
Yep.
just they're so primitive that there's just always something that completely breaks it. And sometimes you see that depending on the quality of the games more recently, but it's definitely few and far between in comparison. So yeah, retro is cool that way. Again,
It
love the
is.
NES. As I keep
Yeah.
saying, that especially is broken to all hell.
But that's why we love it.
Exactly, that's the point. I guess
Yeah.
it's the point to us.
Exactly. It's and that's at the end of the day, that's the biggest opinion that matters, is your own.
Hmm. Definitely. So, any other game highlights?
I mean, other than the I guess like the most work that I put into a community was probably with Link's Awakening on the Switch.
Mm,
Um
the like new the new one
yeah.
with all
Yeah.
the yeah.
Cuz like I was actually like I was there like in the community the moment that game came out, much like I'm going to be with SMRPG, but like I didn't personally do glitch hunting. The only thing that I really did was find like setups for like a lot of these things, and like I worked with TGH to find the setup that's still used in the run for one of the what they call the Hinox warps. Because like the original tech was like we had to like go up the stairs, down the staircase, bash in a few walls, do this and do this, and then it would set up a proper like subpixel.
Hmm.
And then TGH and I did some labbing, and we found out that we could cut that like in a quarter, and it would still give us the proper subpixel to get us on the right the right warp or
Hmm.
the right throw, as you want to call it, to get us to where we need to get to in that dungeon. Because the glitches in that game, whew, uh-uh.
Mm.
We the game got blown wide open like 3 weeks after it came out when a random Reddit post surfaced, and this person was like, I don't think this is how you beat Dungeon 7." And like it just shows him like he's in the room in Eagle's Tower, and he's fighting the one-eyed Cyclops, the Hinox, and he's like throwing the boomerang around and he's swinging his sword hitting the thing, and then all of a sudden he gets hit by one of the fireballs at the exact same time that a Hinox grabs him, and the game freaked out,
Hmm.
and it just threw him like it just like it looks like because the Hinox just grabs you and he turns and throws,
Mm.
and you can't see Link at all. Like Link just goes completely invisible, and the Hinox turns and throws, and the next thing you see is the screen just like hyper speed across like the whole map area, and suddenly he's in the instrument room, and he just stands there for like 30 seconds, and you're just like, what just happened? And so like that got posted in our glitch hunter channel, and like all the glitch hunters were just like flabbergasted. Everybody started booting up their Switch, and everybody's running around like headless chickens, be like, "Oh my god, what just happened?" Um,
Wild.
so we spent a good bit of like 2.5, 3 weeks, like reverse engineering like why this worked. We ended up finding like a sort of consistent setup for it to get the right timing to get hit. Um, because we assumed that you had to get hit by a fireball and get grabbed at the same time, so we were trying to find like a good timing mechanism to reenact that, and we ended up getting like some kind of like decent timing down, but it wouldn't get us to the same room that it got the Reddit user.
Mm.
And then we found a way that we could get thrown on top of the wall, and then all you would see is Link's shadow, and we could walk on the walls of the dungeon, and we just walk straight to the instrument room.
Hmm.
Until finally that glitch evolved into what it is now, which is like you have to like enter the room on a certain like subpixel, exit the room, and then walk down left, and that puts you on the exact proper subpixel, and then it's just up to you to hit the right frame, because it's a frame perfect trick.
Mm. It always is.
Yeah, of course.
Hmm. How much of the game does that skip?
I mean, so there's three Hinoxes in the game. There's one in Dungeon 2, there's one in Dungeon 7, and then one in Dungeon 8. The Hinox just skips the entirety of Dungeon 7 and
Hmm.
Dungeon 8. Um, and then Dungeon 2, we have to do a Hinox warp to the instrument room, and then we have to re-enter it, and we actually have to kill that Hinox so we can go get the power bracelet.
Mm.
But it's that one Reddit post just completely changed the run.
Mhm.
Because like at first we were like we found a way to what they called skewing, angle skewing. Because in that game you have your 8 cardinal directions,
Mhm.
but if you use the feather and you like kind of like tap up or down, you can actually like you know skew the angle a little bit, which allowed you to like hook shot certain blocks that you weren't able to hook, like you're not supposed to be able to hook shot, or fire a bomb arrow to hit switches that you're not supposed to be able to hit unless you like go around the entire dungeon.
Hmm.
Um, and so we found a way to do all that, and then Hinox Warp came up, and we're just like, oh, well, now everything is obsolete.
Perfect. That's
And
how
it's funny because
speedrunning
like
goes.
Dungeon 8, like I love Dungeon 8 in Link's Awakening. Turtle Rock is such a fun dungeon to go through. It's got nice little peaceful like lava noises and music and stuff like that. And the Hinox Warp in there, you go in, do the Hinox Warp, and suddenly you're in the boss room. But where you land in the boss room doesn't spawn the boss. So you just
Hmm.
walk into the instrument room and grab the instrument and leave.
Hmm.
And it's just like, well, now you're skipping one of the coolest dungeons.
Yeah. Again, that's how speedrunning goes. The classic.
Yeah. It's I no longer run the game just because I don't, again, it falls back to that point where it's like I'm not a big fan of like how the glitches have changed the category.
Hmm.
Um that and like I could do that entire run so perfect, but because there's 3 frames that you can get on the D7 Dungeon 7 Hinox Warp, one of them gets you into the instrument room, one of them gets you to the platform that leads to the boss room, and the other one just gets you into the boss room. And if you don't get the instrument room frame, you lose like a minute and a half
Damn.
because you have to fight Evil Eagle, and it's just like, oh, well, now my run's dead, and it's an hour in.
Yeah, that's not great. Not ideal.
No, not at all.
Definitely not. But
So
very interesting.
it's
Very.
the run has gotten absolutely wild. I think it's down to like 57 minutes.
Mm.
So like people have like refined that movement like so precise and like so cool. And I have like an hour 10 and I'm just like, yep, I'm okay with this.
That's fair. But I assume they had to like make a separate category where you don't do the warps, so you can still do all the other cool
We
stuff.
sure did.
Makes
It's literally
sense.
just called any percent no Hinox warp.
Yep. That's also speedrunning for you.
Yep.
Delete something. Well, new category it is.
Yep. Half the community was like, you know what? I don't want to run any percent no more. And we are like, all right, no Hinox warp category. Here it comes.
There it is. But yeah, the lovely joy of having hundreds of categories.
Yep.
Well, luckily that's not every game, and
Yeah.
usually it's warranted, but sometimes, oh boy, it is an eyesore on the SRC.
Yeah, and that's one thing like that we didn't want to do because I'm a mod for Link's Awakening still.
Mm.
And like we didn't want to like overflow like the boards with like hundreds of categories. So like we were just like, we'll have any percent hero mode, which is like no heart drops, everything does double damage. We have any percent, and then we have any percent no Hinox warp, and then 100%.
Hmm.
So just simplification, stuff like that. So you don't run into those issues where it's like, oh well, hold on, I gotta click this drop down list
Hmm.
and look for the category through 75 different categories.
And the way that list shows up now, ugh,
Oh yeah,
it's literally
it's
just a drop down arrow. Ugh,
yeah.
not a fan, but oh well. Well, that's an SRC argument for another day, I guess. But yeah, so since you've talked about GDQ, uh, What's your GDQ history?
So I went to my first GDQ in 2019 at GDQ. Um, I finally, found the ability to be able to attend because travel is expensive. We
Mm-hmm.
we know this.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I finally found the capacity to be able to travel. And I also got over my fear of flying. So it
Mm.
was a win-win hand in hand. So 2019, I asked a couple of my mods, hey, let's go to GDQ. And both of them, they lived near me. So like we were all like, all right, cool, let's all book the same flight. Let's let's all travel together, we'll room together. And we went and I got to meet a bunch of people that I've hung out in their chats for years and I'm mod for them and stuff like that. I got to meet a bunch of people. We got to play rando. Um got to, just experience like what a GDQ is in person. I think I maybe got like 12 hours of sleep the whole week.
Sounds about right.
But that's just like how I am. Like when I go to like conventions and things like that, like I don't sleep very often just because I want to experience more of the convention and hang out with people that I'm not going to be able to see for 6 to 7 months
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. But experience was great. The GDQ was a blast. I got to meet a bunch of people that I hadn't even met before. Like I met Darbian and Cosmic at SGDQ 2019. Um, I got to meet Fred Coughlin. I got to meet JSR. I got to meet a lot of the Zelda runners, and it was a fantastic experience. And now, like, if it's an in-person GDQ, I'm on the website buying a badge and booking my flight because I'm just like, yeah, I ain't
Mm-hmm.
missing this.
Yeah, I'm the same way. That's why I'm broke. But you know
Yeah,
what? It's worth it.
it is worth it because it's just like I would prioritize, unless I'm like in a situation where like I'm about to like get evicted or something. It's like I would prioritize spending time with friends and good company over just like what else am I gonna do? Shove money in a bank account and just look at it.
Yeah.
So I want to enjoy life to the fullest here, and I enjoy it by going spend time with people that I've built a bond with over the last 6 years of my streaming career.
Mm-hmm. That's how I feel. Or at least that's what I use to make the excuse about going every time. But yeah. I mean I've been to 5 now. Gonna be at 6 soon. Whew.
Yeah,
And I go
I've
to
oh yeah,
I'll
yeah.
go to my third pace in a couple days. Ugh,
Like I've done,
money.
let's see what is SGDQ 19, AGDQ 2020, SGDQ 2022, and SGDQ 23. So this will be my fifth GDQ. I've gone to two Twitch cons.
Yeah.
Haven't had the luxury of attending a pace yet, but that's also because I go to all the GDQs and I'm
GDQs,
just like,
yeah.
it's like, ugh,
It's where
flying
most
is so
people are,
expensive.
so it makes sense.
Yeah,
My
but
problem is I keep
eventually,
getting accepted to things. It's like, well, now I
yeah.
have to go. I got
And
accepted.
it's funny because like I will submit to like all these events, and it's just like, well, if they hit the yes button on me, and then I'm obligated to go. So it's like,
Exactly.
just like I gotta.
But speaking of hitting the yes button, they have. So, right?
Yeah, not for me. Not
What?
this. Not
Not
this
for this
GDQ.
one, but like you were saying, you got BS Legend of Zelda into that one.
Unfortunately, that was a virtual run. So
Yeah, but I mean, GDQ's GDQ.
true,
You
it
got to take
is
the W when you can.
absolutely, absolutely. Oh, but you you didn't hear this from me.
Mm.
I will be submitting SMRPG to the second wave submission for GDQ. But you
I
didn't you
didn't
didn't
hear
hear that.
anything. No.
Yeah, you didn't hear nothing.
What?
Exactly. What?
Huh?
Who said that? Somebody is in my house.
So, in your walls.
Yeah. No, my plan is to pretty much like kind of like hyper grind the game until like the 26th cuz like the second wave submissions opens 20th to the 27th.
Mhm.
26th I'm going to have a submission video. Um on the ready, and I'm gonna submit it,
Hell
and
yeah.
we'll just see how it goes because they have I think 7 slots available.
I bet Wonder will get in.
The any percent run is absolutely gonna get in.
Yeah.
People have been popping off with that game,
Yeah, there's
but
no way it doesn't. I don't think.
I saw a slot on there for like it's like a 3.5 hour like slot. So I'm like, games committee, they probably looked at SMRPG from the SNES and was like, oh, this runs 2 hours and 40-ish minutes. Let's keep a 3 hour, 30-minute time slot open for SMRPG remake. So I
They know
think
what's up.
I think the assumption is there that it's gonna be submitted. It's just a matter of who is all gonna submit it because I could probably tell you a few people that are gonna submit it, and they're pretty large in the community.
Yeah.
So
Well, that'll be
we'll see.
interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. As long as it gets a showing, that's all that matters.
True. So, is the BS Legend of Zelda the only time you've been in GDQ?
I was the backup runner for Link's Awakening on the
Hmm.
Switch. TGH being the main runner. And then BS Legend of Zelda, yeah.
Okay,
Everything else I've just done like commentating and volunteer work.
got it. Okay. But yeah, I've never been to like GDQX and TwitchCon. What's that experience like?
It's basically a standard GDQ, just a lot smaller. Um, like you don't have all the additional rooms that you can go into, like for practicing and stuff like that. Like the actual practice area, which is behind the stage.
Mm.
But like this TwitchCon, like they actually had like a giant like grand ballroom, and like, it looked like almost like a full like GDQ area, with all the chairs lined up, and then the backstage area had the practice setups and everything.
Hmm. Neat. But yeah, I don't know what like the TwitchCon part of it is like either.
It's how to describe that? It's basically like a large like area where like a bunch of just different brands set up a booth,
Mm.
and you can go there, see all the new product or existing product. They hand you business cards, you talk to people. Um, Mostly people just go to just meet streamers and
Yeah,
hang out with people and stuff like that.
that's fair. So GDQX is where all the hype is at. So what I'm
Oh yeah,
hearing. Okay,
absolutely.
understood.
It's where I spent most of my time. The rest of my time I was spent there's there's a Doritos booth, and they were handing out free bags of Doritos.
Well, there you go.
I may or may not have changed the mustache like 6 or 7 times and went and gotten like 7 or 8 bags of Doritos. It was
Hmm.
maybe.
I won't tell. That's on them if they didn't notice.
I don't think they cared.
Yeah, that's
If
yeah.
I'm being honest, I probably could have just went in there. Like I probably could have circled the building, went back in there, and they'd be like, "Here, have a bag of Doritos."
There you go. Hey, free food's free food.
Yeah,
You take it when you can. Yeah.
it was a
So,
pretty good flavor though. I'll
mm,
tell you that much. It was like the gray bag of Doritos, like is like the sweet tangy barbecue.
mm,
It's pretty good. Definitely recommend.
there you go. You heard it here first. But yeah, I've always wanted to go, but I just couldn't justify how much money I've been spending recently on trips.
I wasn't gonna go to TwitchCon until I submitted for GDQX and they accepted my Zelda 2 run, and were
Well,
like, "Yo, we'll pay for the TwitchCon ticket." And I was like, "Well, you
well,
twisted
now
my
I
arm, but
have to
now I'm gonna go."
go. The
And
classic.
like one of my friends, JSR lives in Vegas where TwitchCon was, and so he was just like, "Yo," he's like, "I got a spare bedroom," and I'm like, "I'm on the way," you know.
Hmm.
So the only thing I had to pay for was the flight.
Yeah, that's not bad. I'd say that's worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
It was a
so
fun experience.
you ran Zelda 2 at
Yeah,
this one?
yeah,
Yeah,
at the
okay.
GDQX, yeah.
Yeah, because that was the biggest one. So, was that the like 100% all?
hmm
Okay, got it.
Yeah, it was me and JSR raced it at GDQX, and it was 100% all keys.
Did that go well?
Yeah, I landed all the tricks that I wanted to land, and I did it on a retro tank, something that I'm just not familiar and like comfortable with, and I
Yeah.
did it fine. So all in all, I'd say the run went really well.
The trend of playing on a retro tank and not having high expectations and accidentally just having an actually great run. No, I've been noticing that.
Yeah, like when we got there, like I was like, because like we were asking in the Discord, we were like, yo, what kind of setups are we looking at? And Worm was like, oh, we're just gonna have retro tank and monitors, and I was like, oh.
Uh-oh.
I was like, okay. I was like, is there a chance that we'll be able to practice? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. So when we got there, I was like, what's the main stage gonna have? And somebody was like, oh, it's a retro tank 5X. I was like, do y'all have a spare one that I can use to practice on? Yeah. So I did like an hour of practice, and I was like, okay, it's not so bad.
Mm,
And then I practiced a little bit at JSR's house because he also has a 5X. And then the run showed up, and everything went well.
hmm That's interesting
Couple of
because oh, sorry, but
Oh, I was gonna say couple of the encounters trolley, um, with some movement, but other than
mhm,
that, like I got a lot of the tricks that I wanted to nail, um, and I think it went smoothly.
cool. Yeah, I was just gonna say like I know in the GDQ practice rooms they usually have the 2Xs, like the little
Yeah,
minis. So
yeah, they had a
that's what
lot
I
of the
would
two
practice on.
X's.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a lot of the two X's. I asked if they had a spare 5X, and they did,
Okay.
so I was able to use the 5X.
Well, that's good because yeah, I'm sure the 2X isn't as like input delay good
I
as
tried the
that.
2X, and I definitely felt a
Okay.
frame of lag.
That's what I've always felt if I tried a 2X. I was like there is one frame at least.
Yeah, it was a singular frame, but I definitely felt it.
hmm It's funny that we can like recognize one frame of input lag, but it's there. Like it's so obvious.
I promise I don't play this game that often. It's only like a couple times a week
Mhm.
for hours.
Couple times a day, but yeah, I guess that's funny because yeah, again for me, I'm gonna assume they had a 5X when I did like my run at
Mhm.
SGDQ. I don't actually know, but I only practiced on the 2Xs they had in the practice room.
If it
So
was on the main stage, it was probably a 5X.
yeah, so I was practicing with the frame of input lag.
Oh no.
So the fact that I pulled off what I did, it must have been like I was used to the 2X and then I switch. I'm like, oh, well, now I'm super good at the game because now I'm suddenly playing perfectly. That's why it went so well.
Still, I mean, look, hey, nailing FPG one-handed, as that's a feat in
Uh,
itself. That's a feat in
uh,
itself.
I will never be able to understand how that happened. But I was just like, because I even told them in 4-1, like, yeah, read donations. Nothing's going to happen here. But they're reading the donation. I'm like, fuck it. And there it went. I was like, oh,
I mean, what else do you do at that point? Like,
scripted content.
do you just get up and pop off? Like, that's
I
like,
thought about just, I mean, in 4-2, I was just like, yeah, I got nothing now. I can't top that moment. So just enjoy the
yeah,
rest of the
no,
run, I
like,
guess.
like you set the bar high for that run in 1-1, and it's just like, oh, okay, well, now the rest of this run is just gonna be like, well, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah. Yeah, that could not have gone better, I don't think. So it's that was the fastest warpless run ever performed on a GDQ stage. I did it with one hand.
With one hand, yeah. Cannot forget that little bit of information there. It was done with one hand.
Well, see, and I was so worried because it was like $30,000 donation incentive for that. I was like,
Hmm.
I better do a good job. I think it was worth it.
Yeah, no,
So
yeah, for sure.
it did not feel bad after that.
No,
But yeah,
that's definitely you ride the high horse after that run, and you ride it for as long as you possibly can.
yeah. Um, I had to borrow a cartridge from like the World 9 people, and they actually let me keep it. So I still have the cartridge I played on.
That's so awesome.
I want to get it like framed and get like a photo of a moment from the run and just like, yeah, get it framed, put it on my wall with a little plaque or something. Because yeah, I'll never top this moment, I don't think, in my speedrunning career. So I gotta hang up the highs while I can.
Absolutely.
But yeah, GDQ is fun for stuff like that.
It's
Just
it's fun just hanging out with people that you've been chatting with across like a computer screen for years.
yeah, yeah. I went to my first GDQ like very quickly after like getting into the community. Like
Mhm.
almost, I feel like too quickly, at least for me. But I mean, it's not like I regret it. That like that moment changed my life. I was like, oh my god, this is what it's about, huh? This is what
Yeah.
living is.
Yeah. Speedrunning and streaming has definitely changed my life. Like, and I mean like for the better.
Hmm.
Like it's definitely like sometimes it can be mentally taxing with speedrunning because, you know, you're constantly resetting, you're constantly pushing to be a, you know, to perform a better run. And it does get mentally taxing, but when you do get that instance of getting a new PB, it makes you feel like super awesome about yourself. Like, you know, fuck yeah, all this hard work paying off.
I did
And
something.
yeah, and like people are like popping off for you in your chat, and your chat's like all like going wild, and you're just like, hell yeah. And then like, you know, you meet a bunch of like I can't count the number of like people that I've met on two hands that were like not the greatest people. I can't like, and I've
Hmm.
been streaming for 6 years, almost 7 years, and there are, and it's not even in the double digits of the amount of people that I've met through speedrunning that were just like, ugh, I don't ever want to meet this person.
Hmm.
So like, you know, with that kind of information, like how many people that I've met on Twitch and through GDQ and stuff like that, it's just it's great. It's a nice feeling. Like people are just like, yo, it's a super nice feeling like when people find out that you're going to GDQ and they're be like, "Yo, I got to get a picture with you. It's gonna be awesome." And you're just like, "Me? Why do you want a picture with me?
That's how I feel.
I'm just an idiot. Like, what do you? What?"
So true. I can relate so hard.
So like, it definitely like it's boosted like my confidence with like going out and like meeting people and hanging out with people because like I'm a homebody.
Hmm.
I would prefer to just sit in my house and watch TV or play video games or stream, and I'd be perfectly content with that. But like now, like, you know, if there's two GDQs a year, I want to go to both of them because I'm just like, yo, I need to go spend like 9 days with a bunch of people that are super freaking cool. Count me in.
Yeah, yeah. I I can't like express how grateful I am for GDQ existing
Yeah,
because
same.
it's just
Absolutely.
so much fun. That's really what it just comes down to. It's a fun time. Would recommend.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The more I've stuck around, the more I've said like, yeah, going to events is like the best part of everything, I think. Like I don't care if I never PB again, just let me hang out with people that don't suck for a week.
Yeah, basically. Because like I could go hang out with, like, you know, I have a couple friends that watch my stream that are mods for my channel that live nearby, and they're great people.
Hmm.
And then the rest of the people that live around here all are awful.
Well, there you go.
Like I worked in retail around here. It's
I worked
you
in
you
like fast food. Yeah, I understand.
you definitely figure out who is great and who is not so great.
Mostly not so great.
Yeah.
Yeah. God. Now I'm remembering just horror stories from work. Ugh. Delete,
I won't
delete,
even I
delete,
won't even
delete.
get into that because I have
Yeah.
nothing. I have nothing but negative reviews about
Hmm.
working at Best Buy. So
Yep, I can speak on that, but for other places. So,
see all this talk about GDQ now. 2 months. I'm hyped. Let's go. Come on.
yeah. I leave for a small GDQ in 2 days.
Yo, hell yeah.
Essentially.
Hell yeah.
So, I'm looking
I
forward to
have
that.
I have everything all booked for GDQ. My flight's done. My badge is purchased. My hotel room is booked.
Don't have
Friends are
my
all booked up.
yeah, don't have my flight yet. I'm waiting till I get back home from this one.
I Southwest had a deal
Mm.
a few weeks ago, and they were like, "Yo, you could get this flight for $100
What the fuck?
one way." And I was like,
Oh,
"Excuse me, hold on." So I went to the site and I booked the flight, to and from for $200. And I was like, "It's not Spirit, but it's the same price as Spirit. All right, count me in."
sounds worth it to me.
Yeah,
The only thing I'm worried about is Pittsburgh in January. Yikes.
yeah. See, all right, I live in Louisiana, so like I'm
Mm,
the only weather that I have is moisture.
mm, I
So
see.
it's either heat or swamp. So like I'm kind of looking forward to like the cooler weather.
Mm.
Um cuz Pittsburgh, if I recall, there you don't have that much humidity up there. Like they have some, but like not like a ton. Whereas like down here, like I open my front door and I'm like I begin sweating my ass off and I'm just like, "Ugh, this is why I stay inside." So like I'm kind of looking forward to the just the change in weather and experiencing that because like I've never experienced snow before.
Mm.
All new to me.
Someone didn't go to HDQ 2019.
I didn't. SGDQ 2019 was my
Hmm.
first. I've heard the stories of getting snowed in and I'm just like, "Oh, I missed it."
Yep. I got to stay an extra day because I missed my flight because the metro did not go to the airport because there was a snow blockade. Very fun.
Look, I won't lie that I'm kind of hoping that we get snowed in at HGDQ.
I mean, yeah, I had
It
school back then and now I don't. So technically it wouldn't like affect me in a way unless I had to spend extra money. So it's not like it.
it look, it just extends my vacation and I get to hang out with friends more. Like you got to look at the positives here.
Yeah, I do struggle with positive outlooks, but I suppose that's the best way you can put it. I I
Yeah.
I was supposed to leave a day early from that GDQ, and because of that happening, I got to see the finale. So
Oh hell yeah.
I was actually like, I'll be honest, what sucked is I had to travel like 3 hours to the airport because
Oh god.
so like that I went on the metro and then it didn't go to the station, so they put you on a bus, and the bus is trying to get through snow and this snowstorm, and it's nowhere
Oh
close to the
no.
airport. And then I get there and it's like, yeah, you missed the flight because oh yeah, you had to wait an extra hour because of the fucking snowstorm. So it's like, oh, put me on the flight tomorrow, and then I
Oh
have to get my
no.
way back somehow.
Oh no.
But I'll be honest, by the time I was like walking back to the hotel, I was like, thank God, because I want to see the finale.
Yeah, I attended the finale at my first GDQ and whew, that is some very epic energy you feel in that room when that finale is rolling.
Unless it's SGDQ 2023 when it's at 6 a.m.
I was there.
Yeah, I was there, but there was no energy. I wanted to die.
I was like hyped up on like 4 Red Bulls, so like I still had energy. Now, the
And
moment the finale ended, I slugged my way over to the elevator and crawled into bed.
yeah, I went to the lobby and passed out on a chair.
Oh no.
Like, ugh,
Uh,
the things you do to witness the end.
yeah, for sure. I think SGDQ 2019, the finale was the Chrono Trigger 100% run with Puexel,
Mm.
and that was just incredible energy. And then I remember AGDQ 2020 was Oats and Goats with what was it, Super Metroid Impossible
Mm-hmm.
or
Yep.
Kaizo?
Yeah, it was one of those.
But yeah, like just the energy throughout both of those was just phenomenal.
Yeah, those were good to watch. Well, I didn't see that. I wasn't there. SGDQ 2019 was the only GDQ that was in person that I didn't go to since I started going because I
Oh,
I had to go to a wedding and something else blocked
that's when
it.
you
But
gotta tell the friends there, like, look,
you don't
I'm gonna have
understand.
to
But no,
I'm gonna have to go to GDQ. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
uh, I wish, but it's not how it worked out. Yeah, but oh well. I I felt like so bad for missing that one. I was like, okay, I'm never gonna miss another one. And then I go to HDQ 2020. I'm like, hell yeah. And then we don't have one for like 2 years. Thanks,
Yeah,
COVID.
yeah. COVID definitely screwed us over. Still is to this day,
Oh
but
my god. Let it end, please.
yeah. Sadly, I don't think it ever will.
As long as it gets to the point where they just added into the flu vaccine, I'm good. But yeah, hopefully it continues to not be the worst thing. That would be
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. Please, because there are friends that just can't attend GDQs because of COVID
Hmm.
guidelines or because COVID's still a thing and
Yeah, some
people
people.
are just not wanting to follow guidelines and follow the rules. And yeah, it's
Yeah, there's that, and then some people are like have bad immune systems,
yep.
which yeah, you don't want to risk it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like this the whole GDQ change that they just had with the guidelines that just got posted. A couple of friends that were like I was super stoked that we're going for a few days had to cancel the trip.
yeah,
And it's just
I
like,
don't like changing rules after you've like already like opened like, hey, come on down.
yeah, that was a
But
little that was a little
like,
jarring.
yeah, if you just like say it before you can submit or get a badge or whatever, like yeah, okay, that's in the rules. But I don't, yeah, don't change the rule of your event. Like
3 days before the badges go live.
yeah, like, ugh. Yeah, that didn't sit well with me. And then, of course, it opens up the Twitter floodgates of all the blue checked fun people that are like,
I paid $8 for this. Listen to my opinion.
listen to my awesome opinion about how much
Yeah.
GDQ sucks because
Yeah.
they still have restrictions at all. And it's like, okay. See, that was the situation where they couldn't win because you're either mad that they changed the rules, which is fine, or mad because they still have rules, which is less fine.
Yeah. Those people get the fattest blocks of all time whenever I see them.
Ugh, man. But yeah. Anyway, that's the only like negative thing I can say about them. At the end of
Oh
the
yeah.
day, it's like 2.5 million for charity. I can't be mad about that.
No.
So
Not at
they've
all.
given me an excuse to have fun for a week. It is what it is. So they're a
I'm
good
I'm
organization doing good things. Why should we complain too much?
I'm one of the lucky few that has the immune system of an ox. So
Oh wow.
like I mean I went to TwitchCon and like people like when we were getting back, everybody was like, "Oh, make sure you test because I've been having symptoms and all this stuff." And some people were like, "I tested positive," and I was like, I hugged this person, and I get home and I test twice, and both of them are negative, and I'm just like, eh.
Skill issue to everyone else.
Yep, pretty much. It's like I was like, it's just gotta get good. I'm just kidding.
Get
So,
good.
um,
True though.
but yeah, I've been very fortunate. I've only had it once, and I had it for like 24 hours, and then like my fever broke, and then I was just fine.
Hmm. Yeah, I got it from Pace last year.
Oh no.
Yeah. Um like I was vaccinated, it was fine, but the first day I thought I was dying. And then the next day I was like, oh, it's just like a head cold now. Okay. Fair enough, I guess, but
Yeah, I had it the January 2021, or no, 2022, sorry. January 2022
mm,
is when I had it, and I'm sitting in my apartment, and like, this is back like when I was still, living with, my ex and my daughter. And the ex is the one that got it first, and we were testing negative. She tested positive, so she left the apartment and went and quarantined elsewhere, and then ends up me and my daughter test positive. My daughter was asymptomatic, no issues whatsoever. She was still a bat out of hell running on the ceilings. I got hit like a truck for like
mm.
like I said, 24 hours. And like one night I'm sitting there, and like I'm sitting in my stream room, and like I'm playing Pokemon Unite with one of my friends. And like I start feeling like woozy and dizzy, and I go and I check my temperature, and it was like 104.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, at what point do I just go to the ER? And I'm sitting there freaking out, and I'm like, when do I go to the ER for fever temperatures? So like I'm sitting there like trying to like, you know, hydrate myself. I had like a wet rag that I was freezing in the freezer, and I would just slap it on my face. And a couple hours later, like, I took a couple ibuprofens. I was drinking some cold water. I kept doing like the cold rag on my face. Fever broke, went down to like 99, and after that it was just smooth sailing. And I was like, okay, thanks vaccinations.
Yep. It's that first day. It's just like, oh my god. And that's like,
Yeah,
okay, it's fine now.
yeah, made it past the rough patch, but then after that it was just like, okay, I think I got this under control now.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the whole time I'm sitting here like trying to rest, and like just like lays around in bed. And my daughter's running around the room, running around the apartment, running on the ceilings, and come on, let's play. And I'm just like, but I'm
Uh,
tired.
yep. That's how it goes. But yeah. Anyway, GDQ. Fun.
Yep.
That was the moral to the story, I think. If there was a moral to any story.
Probably
I
not.
think that was it. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably no morals, but something like that. But yeah. Anyway, so sounds like you're planning on going to every GDQ ever for the
Of
foreseeable
course.
future. I
As
can
as long as it's in a budget, then yeah, I'm going.
That's how I feel. So, um got any other like speed runs we haven't talked about that are notable?
Um, Notable,
Yeah.
not notable, I guess. I did help with typing up like the route for the Final Fantasy One Pixel remaster.
Mm.
Um, Somebody went and like basically like typed up my notes with some like additional like things here and there, or like alternate routes for like faster times, quoted me and everything. So cool,
Yeah.
fine with that. But other than that, no.
Fair
I
enough.
just I heavily run Zelda games. So
There
pretty
you
much a
go.
lot of those already have like an established community and an established route. And I, like, as a speedrunner, I can't watch like tutorial videos. I just can't.
Mm.
I I'll watch it, and then like I'll start skipping through it, and I'm just like, come on, just get to the trick.
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't get to the trick, and the tutorial is talking for 10 minutes, I'm just like, okay, I'll just go watch a speedrunner.
Yeah.
Like, I actually learned the entirety of Zelda 1 by watching runners like Cantaloupe Me, JSR, Lack Attack, and I would ask questions here and there, and Cantaloupe Me would always tell me, like, hey, do this, stuff like that, and that's how I learned how to run Zelda 1.
Yeah. I'm definitely more of a visual person. I'll like pick up on something just by watching it.
Yeah.
So, I definitely get that. But sometimes you do need like a little bit of words to be said to be like, oh, that's why this is that.
Yeah, if like when it gets to like the complications of like why this trick works and like when you have to do stuff, that's probably when I'll try and like find that in like a video. Um like that was like when I was learning Link's Awakening DX, LADX, and I was trying to figure out like, well, why does this work this way? Well, luckily for me, TGH had an input reader on his streams and to like stuff like that. So like I would watch his streams, I would slap it in slow motion, and I would look at his input reader while he's doing the trick that I'm trying to do, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Gotta love input displays.
Yeah, I don't have one. I'm sorry.
Hmm. I have a hand cam, so close.
Yeah, even better.
Well,
Kinda.
it's not like perfectly in sync with the gameplay, so
Ah,
like input reader will tell you what you're pressing. It's kind of hard to tell on a camera, but I don't know. I like seeing being able to show that hey, I'm pushing the buttons. You can see me do so.
you mean wait? You mean you don't wait? You don't want to be like Battlebun?
Mm.
You
Well,
don't want to
he was
drink a
put
bottle of Coke?
he was pushing some buttons. They weren't the right buttons, but he was pushing something.
They
He was
probably weren't
pushing
even
my
plugged.
buttons, I'll tell you that.
Probably wasn't even plugged into a console.
Trying to remember what this setup looked like. I don't
S-
know.
sitting at a desk eating a large
Pizza.
slice of pizza
No,
and
I
drink.
remember all that. Don't worry. I mean, he definitely was holding an NES controller of some sort.
uh,
What a
some
wild
people,
video to exist.
some people will go to some wild extents. I think recently a video surfaced up that I somebody pointed out to me, and it was like somebody like took the world record run from Zelda, or back when Zelda had the record run for Link to the Past. And the only reason like that I knew it was Zelda's run is because I've watched Zelda enough to know exactly how his capture looks.
Hmm.
And like I'm sitting there, I was watching the video, and I was like, yo, I was like, I didn't know this guy had Zelda's capture set up. And like there was like one point in the run where like you could see him like swinging his sword and moving in a certain direction, which for Link to the Past, you have to have both your hands to do that. And he's sitting there and he grabs a drink and he's sipping his drink. And you're like, hmm.
Well, at least they had a face cam. That makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I was verifying a Mario 1 run and I was like, never heard of this person. There's no way they have this time. I'm watching the video. And that was my gameplay.
Oh my goodness.
That was my gameplay.
That is hysterical. That's one of the reasons why like I actually have a it's a very, very like transparent image on my
Hmm.
my game capture now of one of my emotes. And it's in the bottom right corner, and it you see it in all of my game capture now.
Hmm. Like a
So
little
like you can just see
watermark.
this little, yeah, so like you can see this Marin emote in the bottom right hand corner. Like if you go back and watch any of my recent PBs for like NES games, SNES games, you'll see in the bottom right there's a very transparent image of Marin there. So like if somebody takes it, my video, you can't, because you can't really just remove that
Hmm.
tiny little section there.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't like obscuring the gameplay footage. But that's just
Yeah.
me. But no, that's a great idea. I know Supersonic's been doing that for a long time. I've
Yeah.
noticed that, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the
But
best part is it's very transparent. Like like if you're not really looking at it, like you can't really see it. But like now that I pointed it out, I bet you if you go watch it and you look in the bottom
mhm,
right corner, you'd be like, oh,
there it is. Yeah. But yeah, I'm in a situation where like I think it's very easy to spot when it's a stolen run. At least for Mario 1 moderation, super easy because if you're like, I've never heard of this person, they have a really good time. You have to put the time to the correct decimal. So you just go to all the runs that have gotten that decimal and look through. and it's pretty easy to match them up. Like there was one person that like submitted 3 different runs, and first they stole um I forget who it was first, but it was like, let's say Andrew G. I don't remember who it was, but I was like, yeah, you're not Andrew G. And then they submit another run, and it was Darbian. It's like, you're not Darbian either. And then I think they still Cosmic. I'm like, stop trying. You're not succeeding in your goal here.
Oh my
You don't
goodness.
understand how easy it is to know whose gameplay you're watching.
I don't understand like that whole mindset of just like, oh, let me go take and download this person's PB and splice it up a little bit and in this in your case didn't even splice it up. They were just like, and my PB got him.
My PB. Your PB? My PB.
This
Yeah.
is mine now.
You made this, I made this. But God, I have so many funny just moderation stories. Ugh, people are so stupid.
And
Sometimes
like,
it makes the job harder, but sometimes it's fucking funny.
yeah, I think the worst that I got, like somebody had submitted a PB to one of the boards and it was just a Rickroll. So I responded to him and I was like, you're gonna have to do better than that. Come on.
A Rickroll? I've rejected at
Yeah.
least 7.
Yeah.
So,
Like that was the worst I've gotten, thankfully. But like I was like, I responded. I was like, you're gonna have to do better than that. I was like, your pathetic attempts to troll moderation is kind of sad.
mm, yeah. I alone have rejected at least 7 or 8 Rickrolls. And
Jesus.
every time I leave a different message. Because I'm just like, yep, there it is.
Haha, you're funny. It's
You're
2023.
so original and funny. Keep trying.
Damn, got me.
Wow.
Wow.
Damn. I've been had. Oh no. Ugh. But
It's
yeah.
like it's like the same people that are just like the game, and I'm just like, okay,
But yeah.
okay.
For every Rickroll, you get something that's like, I got this really good time, but I didn't record it. So here's a video of some game trailer. It's like, okay, sure. I respect the effort, I guess. There was some really funny one. I wish I need to find it because it's so funny. But it was what I was trying to reference there. Um but yeah, we actually have like a 2D Mario Discord,
Mhm.
moderator Discord, and I told them to make a rejection, like a rejection channel so we could share hilarious rejections.
Oh no.
So I have like all of my Rick rolls saved and everything, and it's really good. It's a really good time. That's what I recommend for anyone who's in a moderation Discord. Is just make a rejections thing because people are funny and you need to like remember. Yeah, like I'm
I don't
just seeing a bunch of Rick rolls, like
I don't
Rick
think I
roll,
like
Rick roll, Rick roll, Rick roll. They're everywhere.
if I were in like a if I were a mod for like a larger game, I'd probably like consider something like that, but like the largest game that I moderate for is Link's Awakening Switch, which right now probably has like 6 active runners now.
Mm-hmm.
Despite having like 160 times on the board.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
Mario One definitely has lots
yeah, that's
and
a very,
lots.
very popular game.
I accidentally had a Game Genie code to Infinite Jump. Please approve.
Jesus.
Oh my god. I God, I cannot find the one I want to find though
It's
because it's so funny, but I cannot find it. Come on. I need to talk about this. And I'm just scrolling through trying desperately to find this video.
it just makes it all the more worth it.
But I'm scrolling through a bunch of rejections. Like this is how many we get. It is fun. It is fun times. God. Where? I thought I found it, but I didn't. No. Do I not
No.
have it? All I'm seeing is Rick Astley's face scrolling through here. Like, I'm not kidding when I say, like, it was all the time.
There's just that many original people on speedrun.com. Didn't you know?
Oh
Come
my
on.
god. So many highlights. Oh, is this it?
Uh-oh.
I did find it. Okay. So someone submitted a 543. So, not great.
Hmm.
Pretty good. But if you're gonna, like, not submit a run, like, okay. It was not that fast compared to world record. It was fast to me. I didn't record it. The video link is the GameCube intro.
Wait, the GameCube what?
GameCube intro. This might be the funniest submission I've ever seen. I've rejected with the message seek professional help.
Oh no.
But that might be, I think it's to this day, the funniest submission I've ever seen. There's just
That's
something about it.
incredible.
It's not that fast. It's fast for me. I didn't record it. Here's the GameCube intro. Like, how? I don't think they were trying to be funny, but that was fucking hilarious. Oh my god. So anyway, that that's what we have to deal with. I don't know how bad like Link's Awakening Switch is, but
It's not.
it's not. Yeah.
No.
Oh my
I
god.
think the worst thing that we ever had to deal with is I had to reject somebody's run, and he had a fit in the Discord when I
Oh,
rejected it.
oh my god. Yeah, I
And
have stories like that too.
I had to reject it because he had no game audio, and our rules specifically say that you have to have game audio. And if it comes out of sync, fix it before you submit another run. Because it's hard to, you can easily splice Switch games and
Mhm.
whatever. Well, instead of having game audio, he had song requests turned on his stream.
Yikes.
And they were community based song requests. So, like, it was his chat requesting these songs.
Even
And just
yikesier.
and one of the most notable like song requests, and I was like, I'm sitting there and I'm talking to TGH because we were both mods at the time,
Mhm.
and I'm like, so if you're familiar with Link to the Past runners, there's a runner that I don't want to say the name because if I do, I'm gonna get jumped on by this person.
Mm.
Um, I'll whatever. His name's WQ.
Okay.
He's a top level Link to the Past runner, but like he is so like physically attracted to drama,
Mm.
and he constantly makes videos of him calling out cheaters and all his like really shitty opinions.
Okay.
And there's a video on his YouTube channel of him singing In the End from Linkin Park, and
Okay.
it sounds like someone got hit by a train.
Okay.
It's so bad. And I'm sitting here and like I'm like we're in the mod channel talking about this, and like somebody was like, I don't know if I reject this run. I was like, well, let me go watch it. So TGH and I were watching it, and I'm like, Teach, I was like, why does this part sound like WQ? Because like we didn't know because it was just all you hear is the track singing.
Mhm.
And he's like, because that is WQ. And I was like, no shot. I was like, there's no shot that this is WQ singing In the End this horrendously. And sure enough, Teach links me the video, and I go and listen to the video, and I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, I need to go rinse my eardrums out with like some form of like under the counter bleach or something.
Well, I guess we all have funny rejection stories after all.
But like what made it worse is when I rejected him, and I told him, I was like, hey, I was like, do you have a video of your PB without any of this garbage in it, and immediately starts attacking me. He's like, "Oh, you just rejected my run because it's faster than yours," and I'm like, "Huh?" It's like, buddy, I don't even run the game anymore. Why do I care?
That
And it
is
just
quite the leap to a conclusion, I'd
and
say.
then after that, he then gets his community group cronies, whatever you want to call them, all join the Discord and start adding me and being like, "You shouldn't have rejected his run. It's a legitimate run. We were there." And I'm like, "I don't care."
Read the rules.
I was like, "It's literally in the rules that you have to have clear game audio." I was like, "Listening to In the End by WQ is not clear game audio."
Yeah, that does not count. Yeah, that's unfortunate situation. The only thing I can relate to that is someone like clearly faked a run. I forget in what method, but I even posted in that rejection channel because like it was like it was one of those comedic things. And if someone's not going to put effort into like actually making a submission, I'm not going to give effort into my rejection message. So I'll always say it's just something stupid. And they went to the Discord and said, "You rejected my run for no reason, then said this. Can we get this guy banned from the moderation team?" And everyone's just like, "Bro, use you're the L here. Move on,
Yeah.
please." But that's like the only time that's ever happened. It was once. But they were like, they were so mad, like going to the other chats, like, "Ah, this guy, this mod banned my legitimate run. What an asshole." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll send it to anyone," and they'll say within 5 seconds, "Yeah, that's fucking bullshit."
Legitimate and with 47 different forms of air quotes around it.
Only 47? I don't know. It was pretty funny, but yeah. Luckily, I haven't been like actually harassed,
That's good at
so
least.
I'll consider that a W. And nowadays, I like hardly the only runs I really verify nowadays are if it's like a world record run where it's obviously going to be fine. Like I know the person, maybe even saw it
Yeah.
live, and I'm just like, okay, easy verify. Like I know it's fine.
You mean you didn't deny any of like Nifsky's runs? Come on.
I almost did.
Oh no.
Um, Back when he started, I mean, he improved so fast. I was in the Discord. I'm like, this can't be real, right? Like this is too fast. But I mean, we didn't reject it, and obviously it was fine. But it was just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? But no, yeah, I did legitimately go to the Discord and I was like, is this real? We should look into this, and we did, and it was fine. But
I mean, it's a fair assumption, like especially like with a game where like everybody's trying to save like one frame rule to get that what is it 0.35 better time for each frame rule,
yeah,
and
yeah,
like
0.35.
so like that's a fair assumption.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this guy improved a little bit too fast.
Yeah, for
Kind of.
sub 5 was a low 458, and then got like almost to 456 within the next week, and I was like, oh, okay, that can't be right, but I guess it
I I
was.
I think that's honestly a valid assumption though, because like
Yeah, like I don't think anyone. I say the story in a funny way now because it's funny looking back, but
yeah,
like if you're improving that quickly, it is going to be looked at with some scrutiny because that is like not the average way it goes. So,
now somebody comes out of nowhere and it's like, oh, I got a 453. I'm like, all right, buddy, hold up.
well, luckily that's literally impossible. So that's
I
the
know,
easiest
that's what I'm
rejection
saying.
in the world. But
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, all right, buddy, hold on. You mean to tell me you're faster than the TAS?
hmm,
Hmm.
seems good to me. Been waiting for that 453. Let's just say it is. But no. Uh SRC moderation is interesting time.
It's definitely a thankless job, I can tell you that
That's
much.
what everyone would call it.
I love getting angrily pinged in a Discord because their run hasn't been verified in 3 weeks,
Or
and
in
it's like,
3 hours.
oh yeah, that's even worse.
Yeah, but I haven't had an issue in a while. I think we're good. So,
That's
but
good.
I remember
That's good.
a few years ago it used to be hell. Just hell. Just much hell. But not so much anymore. But yeah.
That's good.
That's what moderation is like. For those who don't know, that's moderation in a nutshell for you.
Some days it's good. Some days everybody's a jerk.
Yeah. Something like that. Some days it's funny, sometimes you're tired of seeing Rick Astley's face for the 10th time that week. It depends, but definitely a varied amount of interesting moments, I'd say. But yeah, no, you never get praise. At most, you'll get like verify my run, jackass. So
Yeah, I don't
that's the
ever
only
see
problem.
that. I don't ever see the thank you for verifying my run. I don't ever see that.
I'll see if it's like someone I know, but if it's some rando in 1,472nd place or whatever, I'm not gonna get a thank you for that. Not that I
Uh,
need
I'll
it. I'm just saying.
I'll have you know my S&B time is 1245th place. Thank you very much.
You're better than what I said.
Who
So there you
even?
go.
All right, wait. Now I got to see who even verified this run.
I can tell you probably wasn't. Well, back then I wasn't around yet, so yeah, definitely wasn't me.
It was 5 years ago. Click on
Probably
this.
Mav. That's my
It
guess. We'll see if I'm right.
was Supersonic.
Oh well, look at that.
That's funny. That was before I even knew who Supersonic was.
Well, there you go. Funny how things work out. I guess he was a mod back then. Because this, what you said, this was like 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, this run was done August 1st, 2018.
Hmm.
Good lord.
I wasn't even around for a year yet. By then, I definitely wasn't a mod yet. I had just switched to console by then, so I had a 457 probably.
Jeez.
Damn,
That's actually really funny. Like I
classic.
didn't even know Supersonic verified this run for me. That's funny.
Well, there you go. The more you know. But yeah. Um, any other like speedrunner related stuff you want to talk about? I don't know if I've skipped over
Uh
anything important. That
no. I mean other than just like stuff that's coming in the future,
yeah,
but we've kind of already discussed it. I'll be running Super Mario RPG. I
yep.
do want to learn the glitchless all royal seeds route for Wonder. Um I actually been fiddling with it here and there, and I learned the infinite bubble jump, which is pretty cool.
Heard about that.
It's
Reminds
a
me
it's
of the
definitely it's definitely
Infinite
a cool
Yoshi
thing.
Flutter, 2D
Yeah, it's
Infinite
def
Yoshi Flutter.
oh god. No, please, I don't want to play Yoshi's Island.
Well, I'm talking about Galaxy 2.
Oh no, no.
That's the 3D. Uh, the 3D Infinite jump thing. Just
Yeah,
like
I mean, other than just my plans for the next, well, starting on this like the 18th, I guess, because I'm gonna spend the whole day finishing a casual playthrough, finding all the Easter eggs and 100% in the game, basically. But after that, it's full on grind
all
mode.
speed runs all the time.
Yep,
Makes
that is
sense.
that is the plan.
Well, don't have to wait too much longer. So there you go.
It needs to be here soon.
It will be. It'll be here before you know
Oh, not before I know it soon enough.
it. Fair. I guess not, but I mean, sometimes you gotta wait a little bit.
It's all good. I have Star Ocean to keep me entertained right now.
There you go. So, yeah, I guess we can wrap things up here.
Sure.
We've talked about everything you've wanted. So, yeah, it hasn't been too much chat today, but if anyone's here for a question, you can ask it now. And feel free to self promote to your liking.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, sure. If you like Zelda speedruns, or if you're interested in watching Super Mario RPG speedruns coming in the next couple weeks, come check out my channel, twitch.tv/Iceblue. Probably will be listed in the link of the video or
Yep.
the description.
On stream, I have the shout out command going right now. And then, yes, YouTube description. You easily accessible in numerous ways.
Yeah. I also do a lot of casual stuff if I'm feeling up for it, or community voted stuff, and we keep things super cozy there. So very lurker friendly, and my community is super welcoming.
I do enjoy coziness, so can recommend. Well, with that, I guess we can end things off here. Thanks everyone for watching. Uh, you're
Yeah,
watching on Twitch.
thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, thanks for being on. It's a good talk. If you're watching on Twitch and want to see the full episode, it'll be up on Sunday, so in a few days while I'm at Pace. And if you're watching on YouTube, I stream these on Twitch when I'm home. So check those out if you want. All right, and with that, take care. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.